Welcome to MonWHO News. I'm Pickles McNeely. We are here at the MonWHO conference. It's super late, and we are still here working for you. Day one was chock full of excitement and scandal. The afternoon's proceedings got off to a wonderful start with incredible speakers, which is only marred by technical difficulties which almost compromised our beloved Twitter feed. Nonetheless, the conference got out to a rattling start, with many of our delegates struggling to have their voice heard in a cacophony of nations.
Hello, this is Katarina from CNN, and I'm here with a delegate from Antigua. Antigua has a public healthcare system, and corruption is abuse of public office to private gain. Thus, corruption can occur in the healthcare system of Antigua.
Thus, one of our goals to attenuate corruption within our healthcare system is to expand our private healthcare options.
I'm Julianne, and I'm from Rede Globo, and here I'm with the delegate from Brazil. So tell me a little bit more about Brazil's healthcare system. I know you had some conflict with Antigua concerning human rights in the private and the public system.
Everybody needs to be covered by health insurance. Everybody should have access to it. So when a private system is excluding people from healthcare access, that's not okay. That's a violation.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Would you say that you are aligned with Russia or Italy?
Particularly because Ireland has faced significant issues within government itself. As opposed to at the level of healthcare systems, what has been more prominent is corruption within the overseeing governmental body. In that sense, Ireland's stance pertaining to Italy's suggestion, we completely agree in the sense that we would like to see measures that are taken to disincentivize individuals at the highest levels of government from acting in a corrupt manner, and furthermore, trying to address what exactly incentives are currently in place for them to act in that manner.
Hi, my name is Isabel Kim, and I'm here with the South African Broadcasting Company. We're going to take a look at Christina and her opinion on the current public versus private sector and how the government is handling its funding.
Since the apartheid, there has been like a private sector of the healthcare that open, only available or accessible to about 20% of the population.
Early on, questions arose as to the commitment of our delegates. We go to our correspondent at The Economist for more.
I'm Nathan Gamble, editor of The Economist. This afternoon, the Montreal World Health Organization, known as MonWHO, assembled to combat corruption in healthcare. Most delegations proffered position papers, asserting their commitment. However, in a pre-regional bloc session, approximately 70% of delegates indicated that they would not return an envelope full of money found in a car garage, provided the deed would remain hidden. Italy bombastically opened the European regional bloc by asserting that more must be done to protect their international aid, and called for a minute of silence to remember the victims of international healthcare corruption. Italy could use the reflection. Many hospitals in the country's Calabria region are run by the mafia. More countries should heed the appeals of Ireland and create legislation to protect whistleblowers. Alexander Solzhenitsyn insisted that the line separating good and evil passes not through states nor between political parties, but right through every human heart. The delegates must discuss the source of corruption. Failure to do so will produce a meaningless resolution. This has been Nathan Gamble for The Economist.
Debate got off to a fast start with ideological divides quickly emerging in the European bloc. We go to Al Jazeera for more.
Here at the Montreal World Health Organization Summit, many concerns have arisen within the European regional bloc. Turkey said that they want to place a focus and interest on counterfeit drugs, while Ireland is primarily concerned with safe whistleblowing. The delegate from Italy seems more concerned with discussing corruption in other less developed countries than his own, and said that they give so much money to international aid that their main concern is making sure this aid is free from corruption. On the receiving end of this is Afghanistan, who is very aware that their dependence on foreign aid is affecting their corruption within their nation. Here with Priyank from Saudi Arabia. In our Europe bloc, there seems to be a lot of conflict between the differences between non-developed and developed countries and how they should approach corruption differently. Specifically, there's been some tension between you and Italy. How do your opinions differ?
So basically, the difference between what Italy is trying to propose and what I'm trying to propose is whether countries should move towards being more independent or whether they should keep their dependence on foreign aid, whether it be with NGOs or other countries. What I've been trying to propose, not very aggressively against Italy, but just as a counter-proposal, is that there should be put in measures in place so that countries become more independent on their own, as they're receiving their help from NGOs and other countries.
Thank you, Priya. I'm Louise, here with Al Jazeera News.
The debate was going on smoothly until scandal hit. We here at MonWHO Media love scandals. Love them! A lot!
This is Katie Shem reporting from the New York Times. At around 5 o'clock p.m. yesterday, the New York Times was the first to break news of a bribery scandal. And documents obtained by the New York Times reveals unsettling actions of Chinese officials in a small rural area where MSF workers were told to administer a new influenza drug to patients. However, MSF workers soon realized that the drugs they were administering were causing immediate illness to their patients. And when searching for more information about these drugs, identified as drugs as part of a clinical trial conducted by MonWHO, they were not well received by Chinese officials.
That my workers were given bribes to administer the drugs. Well, right now I've removed my field workers from the local area. They're still refusing to give us any information.
Let's take a look at what China had to say about these allegations.
Yeah, okay.
One more question. I have here also obtained from the New York Times an email outlining that you were in fact informed of the bribery taking place. What do you have to say about that?
As I said, I really don't know where you're getting this information from.
This is the Katie Show for the New York Times.
I'm from Ready Globo in Brazil, and here I'm with the delegate from China. So it seems that there's been some accusations against you from MSF. Can you please describe these for us?
Honestly, I really don't know what they're talking about. And MSF is just looking to start up some trouble, I guess.
We'll look back to them tomorrow and see how this resolves. This is Julianne signing out from Ready Globo.
This is Katarina with CNN. Amnesty International and MSF are both dissatisfied with China, and they have claimed that China has serious issues in terms of corruption in their healthcare systems. We'll discover what happened.
That are being administered through my workers to patients who have now reported to the hospital with side effects. We confronted the provincial government and they refused to give us actual papers. They've tried to bribe my workers, so I've drawn them out because Médecins Sans Frontières does not work with that. So I don't understand where the miscommunication has happened, but this level of corruption and bribery with my workers is not okay.
So provide me with a proof of this prescription medication, all these drugs, drug trials, and how they're ineffective, these side effects that you talk about, and then we'll see where we're going.
The big issue with China is that they have a lot of political prisoners in general, and they're kind of using them against their will. There's a lot of testing on pharmaceuticals that goes against without their consent. There's organ harvesting, specifically in the Falun Gong, and able to kind of take advantage of that.
So you're going to completely disregard the fact that I have health charts saying that my patients are not okay after the administration of illegitimate drugs.
I'm going to totally disregard that. I don't believe that these are your workers. I don't know where they're getting their medication from.
GlaxoSmithKline has sold anti-malarial drugs to Uganda. And Ugandan citizens, 15% of the people who received the drugs ended up with severe side effects from those drugs, and they are now in the hospital. What happened?
So we have been partnering with a number of organizations to deliver anti-malarial drugs to people. Unfortunately, what seems to be happening is people who are receiving these drugs are becoming very ill and requiring immediate hospitalization and medical attention. We have spoken with the pharmaceutical company, and they have not been overly helpful other than to say that they are selling the drugs to the Ugandan government. We're not receiving any word back from the Ugandan government, so we'd like to get to the bottom of this issue and find out exactly where the disconnect is happening.
Uganda has nothing to do with that. GSK gave us faulty drugs. It's completely their fault. They are behind the bribes. We are aware that there are many people within our own government that have accepted the bribes, and they will be held accountable. However, Uganda was not aware of any of this, and the blame is completely on them.
Katarina with CNN.
Good afternoon, my name is Isabel Kim and I'm here as a representative of the South African Broadcasting Agency. I'm here with Jonathan as a representative of Uganda. Now Jonathan, recently there's been a lot of controversy involving GSK, the pharma company, and yourself. Can you elaborate a little bit on this and what is your position?
The position is that the Republic of Uganda had no idea that this was going on. However,
Thank you, Jonathan. Stay tuned, we're going to get a statement from GSK themselves.
Wait, are you going to keep that?
Originally, we were going to get a statement from GSK. However, breaking news is that the two parties, GSK as well as Uganda, have come together to release a joint statement. Let's hear it from the delegates themselves.
GSK would like everyone to know that we value our relationship with Uganda and we're proud supporters of their anti-malaria program. We're denying all allegations. The drugs we supplied them with are legit. There are standard anti-malarials that are given to everybody, but we'd like to work together with Uganda to figure out what's going on.
And there you have it.
GSK had been selling drugs to Uganda for its anti-malaria campaign. However, accusations broke out that GSK was in fact bribing Uganda government officials to take the drugs. Initially, when confronted with this issue, both Uganda and GSK blamed one another, claiming to be innocent.
I would just like to point out that although the previous statements I made have been to attack GSK, and GSK has made statements to attack me, after discussing with each other, we both recognize there are corruption that is outside of our control, and we both want to work together to improve transparency.
We're going to do an inquiry into the event and to really figure out what happened and who was implicated.
Further discussion is necessary.
Once the investigation has reached a conclusion and has determined the third party who is at fault for such corruption, both Uganda and JSK promise that consequences will be faced and that measures to prevent such corruption issue to unfold again will be taking place. None have been proposed at the time since the investigation is still as reported.
That was unbelievable. We are definitely going to follow up on that. Finally, we conclude our report with a sober editorial from The Economist.
This is Nathan Gamble, Editor-in-Chief of The Economist. Battling corruption is a fight more analogous to Hercules and the Lernaean Hydra than St. George and the Dragon. Severing one head is not enough. On the first day of the Montreal World Health Organization, Russia was eager to address its infamous informal sector.
We do recognize that there is a problem.
Even welcoming suggestions of NATO member states who are acknowledged adversaries.
I do not think that us cooperating on corruption measures with the Western nations necessarily means that we agree with some of their economic standpoints.
This diffidence is rare and commendable. However, reality may be too great an adversary. Russian mafias frequently use Turkey, a long-term NATO member, as a conduit to smuggle pharmaceuticals and weapons to Asia. Turkey has implemented a task force to tighten its internal Asian-European border and is looking for international cooperation.
Turkey sees our role as kind of an intermediate, as we can use the advice and the examples from European countries, but we hope that we can actually lead and help some of the other Asian countries.
Russia ought to avail itself of the opportunity. An anti-corruption partnership with Turkey, as well as its NATO allies, will indicate to the global community, and more importantly to mafias, that Russia has repented of its crimes. Non-governmental organizations and pharmaceutical companies must demonstrate equal commitment. Reports suggest that Merck & Co. bribed Chinese officials and ran drug trials with patients at Médecins Sans Frontières. All parties have denied wrongdoing, and MSF asserts that its physicians were duped. MSF's personnel were involved in a similar incident in Nigeria in 1996. The brunt of the blame lies with the willfully guilty. However, NGOs must work harder to monitor the pharmaceuticals they administer, particularly in regions known for endemic corruption. They must be wise as serpents and innocent as doves. This has been Nathan Gamble for The Economist.
Thank you, and for the love of God, somebody get me a pretzel!